Legislature's Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy, as well as Police and Home Affairs, are conducting a two-day joint oversight visit to assess the state of illegal mining in the Northwest Province. The committees are currently meeting stakeholders in Stilfontein near Klerksdorp. The oversight visits come a few days after a group of 21 alleged illegal miners were arrested by a team led by the Hawks. Over 20 firearms, ammunition and explosives were confiscated during the arrests in Stilfontein. We now cross live to Sintle Lihihi, who's there for us this afternoon. A very good afternoon to you, Sintle. There's been a lot of discussion, planned interventions and so forth around the issue of addressing illegal mining. And one wonders if the catalyst for this is, that story of a number of women being raped allegedly by zamazamas or illegal miners. Has this been the catalyst of what we're seeing lately, where we're seeing even the Hawks being brought in and involved in dealing with the issue of illegal mining? What are you hearing where you are?
Good afternoon to you too, Flo, and our viewers. I'll explain to you that indeed the incidents of the mass rapes that took place in Klerksdorp were a catalyst to the actions that we're seeing from the different law enforcement agencies and mining operations here. But you'll understand that the issue of illegal mining, zamazamas, has been long standing here in this area. You'll know that Kosh, Klerksdorp, Orkney, Stilfontein, Potch are actually hubs of illegal mining sites. I'll actually ask my colleague Jabulani Africa to show you this site here. This is in fact the site where the over 18 illegal miners were arrested and those weapons were actually confiscated. That sealed little area that you see there is how they made their way and accessed underground. You'll understand that these problems have been long standing in this community. There's a major predominance of Basotho citizens who are also participating in this, citizens from Mozambique, citizens from Zimbabwe. But it's also astonishing because you remember that Northwest as a province does not share borders with these countries. So we see just a mass or inflow of illegal miners who are finding their way to this area, and there definitely needs to be more policing. But to give us a better understanding on the reality on the ground as communities see them, we're joined by Ntate Khositsile. You are a member of the Community Policing Forum here. Yes. You've explained to us that this situation has held the community at ransom.
Yes, indeed. The community of the area is being held at ransom. They cannot move out freely. They cannot walk freely the way they had to do. They cannot exercise their rights because of they are living in fear of being shot at any given time.
Many are talking about the incident in Klerksdorp being a catalyst to these interventions. But we've seen this level of illegality happening in our communities for way longer than we've seen the Klerksdorp incident.
Yes, even in our townships, there are some of those kind of incidents whereby there are kidnappings, there are rapes, there are hijackings, there are murders, and some of the crimes that were not there before these people arrive. But now we are seeing an increase in the hijackings and in the murder and in the rapes, and mostly murders are being committed with a firearm, of which it was something that we don't know or we don't have. But now murder with the firearms and the business robberies, house robberies are now on the increase because of weapons that are now roaming around the townships.
We've seen division among the zamazamas themselves. Some of them are actually continuing benefiting from the mines, and others have gone to the streets to terrorize communities.
Yes, there are those that are being disciplined by their leaders of the zamazamas, and then they moved from the zamazamas. They went to the community, whereby they are now starting to hijack, doing housebreaking, killing and robbing the community, of which now we cannot take it anymore. Now, as the Community Policing Forum, we don't want the community to take the law into their own hands. Hence, we said, let the government and the police and the portfolio, I want to thank the portfolio committee members for them to listen and to see to it that it is important to come and see for themselves the complaints of the community.
But in as much as the portfolio committee being here, is enough being done to police these areas, to hold the people who've come here illegally to account and deport them and make sure that there's an eradication of this illegal activity?
I cannot say there is enough that is being done because there's a shortage of police officers, resources also. Because you'd find that the township like Kanana is still operating at that limited personnel, which was there by 2000, and now the township has now grown up. Now the person power hasn't been increased. So there won't be anything that we can say they are going to contain this as long as we have a shortage of personnel.
Thank you so much for your time. Let's get better context from the chairperson of the portfolio committee. Ntatelo Zupo, you've made your way here. You've had major interactions. You are at the site where at least 18 illegal miners were arrested. And you have no idea if mining or illegal mining is happening right underneath us.
Well, that's definitely. Like we have said when we were addressing there, we did state that we have traveled almost 5 provinces which were identified as hotspot areas. And one of the reasons is to look at the extent of illegal mining, in particular social crimes like rape, murder, and all sorts of things. And that is what we were quite convinced that it was a correct decision that we took. But also what we found here, that areas where we think, especially from the community policing side, the manner and the honesty in which they were able to table their own presentation, amongst other things, they were raising concerns or issues about communities themselves that continue to hide or to keep those illegal miners, but also the role that is being played by official or active mining companies. They even mentioned some of the shafts and the managers responsible in colluding with illegal miners. They also did raise issues about the conduct of the police as well as the officials from the DMRE and the Home Affairs. And those are the issues that we need to take. The concern that we're having is that we think there was an error of judgment on our part when we undertook this journey. We should have also consulted or agreed to go along with the Committee on Justice and Correctional Services. But some of the issues here are related to prosecution, lack of successful or effective prosecution. We know that we can't deal with judges and magistrates because they make independent opinion. But with regards to your National Prosecuting Authority, we think that we should have been able to engage with them. But again, one of the things that did not go well with us is the fact that we think that the Department of Mineral Resources has been found wanting here. Why do we say so? We can't get the explanation why this area is still active to be utilized by Zamazamas. We are told that there was an application for liquidation as early as the 1980s up to 1995, and it seems they still want to believe that that liquidation is still in effect. Surely you can't have a liquidation that sits for more than 30 years. Second, one of the things we have said is that there is absolutely no justification to keep this structure as it is. And the issue that therefore we have said on the spot, in the absence of those who are responsible for the program of eradicating derelict and ownerless mines, that we don't take kindly to it because they should have been here. One of the things that we are saying it firmly, they need to put down this structure so that they can kill the basis of the operations of the Zamazamas, because it's clear that's where operations are run. On any other aspect, and they have been able to explain even how the shaft, if it is accessed, connects even to other shafts that are still active, of active mining. So that is why we say our view is that simple. Yes, we're still going to sit down and go and discuss, but in the immediate, we want them to close down this thing.
Thank you so much for your time, Ntate. A call from the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Mineral Resources, a call to demolish these sites. Many of the abandoned mine sites have been continuing to stay in operations through the operations of illegal mine workers. And this is a growing call that perhaps they should just be completely demolished, as there's no current rehabilitation and there's no actions to actually eradicate illegal mining activities in totality. But from us here at these sites of illegal mining in Klerksdorp, back to you in studio.